Hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? My name is Eumelana and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I had this video planned out to be scheduled either yesterday or Sunday, and it didn't even fully upload either. So now I have to re-record, edit this video, but it's okay because there's a couple of more things I wanted to add. Okay, so what inspired me to do a video about this topic, why the media pushes you melanated American women to be with African men, is because I watched the movie Fat Girls. Now, I want to make a disclaimer. Monique, who plays as Jasmine in the movie, and Jimmy Jean Lewis, who plays as Dr. Tunde in the movie, those two were coupled in the movie. Their ethnicities, I would say, are questionable because, first of all, Monique, she just claims to be African American. And we know when it comes to paper genocide here in America, they were slapping any and every label on any dark skinned person. So just because your ancestor is dark skinned does not mean that they are African or black. They could be indigenous. Same with Jimmy Jean Lewis. He does look African, I'm not even gonna lie, but he's Haitian. He could have indigenous roots, but then again, I don't fully know. I didn't do a full set genealogy on these two, but hey, it inspired me to do a video because I noticed they put Godfrey out of all people, out of all Africans they could have put in this movie, like continental Africans, they put Godfrey in here. And Godfrey does not even like you melanated American women. So for this movie to be really pushed out there, like, oh, being pro black and being pro African and mother love and mother Africa, it's just, you got to really question, like, what's really the motive here? Because African men are not always the best when it comes to coupling with you melanated American women. But yet in this movie, they push it as that. They push it as African men are the better option for you melanated American women. And also in the movie, it was portraying a lot of the whole gender war, interracial thing that we're pretty much seeing now on social media. It's very stereotypical, and of course, when it comes to Black American culture, a lot of people don't know a lot of Black American culture stems from Indigenous American culture. And so when we come to that conclusion, it's giving negative representation to the Indigenous aspect of Black American culture. And that's just something I feel like a lot of people are ignoring because honestly, in this movie, I don't even think there was even not one type of healthy, you melanated American love dynamic, even if they was just labeling themselves Black American or whatever. Like, it was just not there. It was just not there, not one bit. Also in the movie, the interracial couple was walking past Monique and the white girl flipped her hair and her hair knocked the drink into Monique's face. And the white girl was like, people should be watching what they drinking. And like the black dude was like, you still look good. They made sure to put that in the movie to make you melanated American women feel small and make them feel less than. And so when they put that scene in there, it doesn't seem so bad for you melanated American women to be with African men, right? Because hey, they showing this dynamic that of you melanated American men with white women. Why not you melanated American women be with African men? You get where I'm going with this? It's all about psychology. So yeah, this video really hits on a lot of things that you melanated Indigenous American community talks about today, because a lot of so-called Black Americans are Indigenous or come from Indigenous bloodlines, whether they like to talk about it or not. So moving on to the next segment of this video, this is where I pre-recorded talking about why they really do push this dynamic between you melanated American women and African men being together. And this may upset some of y'all, but y'all should learn the truth about the history when it comes to indigenous American Negro women, and African men. Choctaw Freedman on Twitter pointed out something to me that Choctaw Freedman on Twitter really pointed out something that I feel like a lot of people are overlooking. Now, in this tweet, they say that race being a myth created a shift control of land and wealth into white communities. I do agree with that to a certain extent, but race is not a myth. It's just not. It's just not. But I digress. Okay, continuing. Because each individual and native person in the 5 tribes received a land allotment, including white women. White lawmakers made all non-black people legally white. This allowed for white men to marry non-black native women and shift control of native lands into white communities and hands, even though most white men couldn't get a native land allotment themselves by reclassifying non-black natives as white and setting up Jim Crow marriage laws on racial lines. They were able to control native women's land through marriage and accumulate wealth. These Jim Crow laws were the first laws ever established after Oklahoma became a state and came into effect on December 18th, 1907. However, white men had a problem. Although they were able to marry non-black native women, their Jim Crow laws that they created prevented them from marrying wealthy Afro-native women and girls, blocking a pathway to wealth and land acquisition. There were freedmen girls and women who ended up by luck receiving prosperous land allotments that produced the most wealth that black folks had ever had. So you have a state where there are now black natives who are wealthier than the white man trying to create gender and race hierarchies. And because of Jim Crow laws they implemented themselves, they can't access these girls' wealth through marriages. One huge example of this was Creek Freedman girl Sarah Rector. At only 11 years old, she became the richest black person in the whole country due to the oil extracted on her land allotment. White men were furious as she got access to her money. She started to cross the social boundaries of race because of her wealth. She received dozens of proposals for illegal marriages to white men, both around the U.S. and internationally. But again, the white legislator made these marriages illegal. So instead of ending Jim Crow, the legislator attempted to legally reclassify Sarah as white. This would allow not only white men to marry her, but would also not cause her to break the class based assumptions about race. If the law passed, she would no longer be a wealthy black woman, breaking the class based boundaries of race, but she would now be a dark skinned white woman, more aligned with what the class bounds of whiteness were supposed to be. Now, I know that was very long winded, and you're probably like, okay, Yona, you read all that. What does that have to do? Where this is where African or quote unquote black men come in. Freedmen were also consistently kidnapped by white and black people who forced them to sign their lands away. White men also paid black men to marry freedmen women and freed girls and forced them to sign away their lands once married. They found ways within the boundaries of Jim Crow to violently redistribute land and wealth, and this reinforced the class bounds of whiteness. I wrote about this in my senior thesis at Columbia. Okay, so if y'all want to check this out, that's the link. But yeah, so I mean, baby girl did her research, okay? And then she also give a source. Please read Racecraft, The Soul of Inequity in American Life by Professor Barbara Fields for more info on how race is constructed. Okay, so y'all, you just can't make this ish up. So now do you see why they're pushing us to be with these people in the first place? Because they have been setting this up since day one. I swear, the Pell people stay having a plan and executing it. Because this right here is going to force so many melanated American people, whether they claim to be African or indigenous, to look at themselves, to look at their heritage, to look at their bloodline and be like, dang, it really do be your own people. That's why I say not all skin folk is kinfolk. They sending people like you to F up what you got going on. So ladies, definitely be careful. Definitely be careful. Okay? Because obviously this still going around, right? Nowadays it's just some dude trying to bum on your couch, eating up all the fruit snacks and wasting gas in your car. Okay? And don't contribute to nothing in the household. But back then, this was so common. I can only imagine. Imagine turning down the pale man, being like, I ain't finna marry a little pale man, and you get with a quote unquote black man, and he works for them. He working with them. Horrible, horrible. So yes, this is why they're always steadily pushing us towards these people, because Africans and pale people are pretty much one and the same. They have known each other for a hot minute. Okay, they work together to bring down our foundations over here. Literally, literally, African conquistadors contributed to the genocide of indigenous American people. So that's all I have to say about this video. It's heartbreaking to learn about stuff like this, because it's like, dang, like people really used our ancestors for what we have, and now people act like we ain't nothing because they were too busy taking from us or stealing from us. And now they say, oh, why you ain't got no wealth? Because you stole it. Because you forced me to give it away. Because you tricked me. You conned me. That's why. Now, that wasn't always the case for all you melanated American people, because they were just some people that were just willing to give it away. There were some people that were just willing to worship white Jesus. Okay? But it's not a one for all when it comes to everyone's genealogy and history. You understand? So that's all I have to say for now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button, all notifications. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit those notifications so you get notified when I go live and when I upload a new video. Thank y'all guys for watching. Until the next time. Bye.